the whole Fandango thing, as we've mentioned before, was very much forced. With Daniel Bryan, I was really worried, like you guys were last week. We were talking about the fact that maybe we're seeing this 2003 Triple H. We definitely got that once again this Raw. But I was actually happy. They're letting Daniel Bryan be a character. And by the end of that show, I was like, you know what? I completely buy into the 5'8" guy. I mean, I am 1 inch shorter than Daniel Bryan. And the fact that I know that that's the guy that is kind of representing the company, and they're putting him in gauntlet matches and all these things, that motivates me to like him, not even as a wrestling fan, but in the perspective that I can relate to him. I'm not the tallest guy, I'm not the fastest guy or something, but it's almost like that's me, that me as a wrestling fan, I go like, hey, that could be me, and it motivates me because it's not Randy, it's not the 6'4", 6'5" guy that's the average body build.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, Daniel Bryan is he is single-handedly breaking the WWE is ruled by big guys barrier, like him and Punk in that respect. But I want to backtrack a bit. Are we really seeing 2003 Triple H? I don't get that feeling at all. I'm thinking more like McMahon Helmsley era Triple H. That's the vibe I'm getting way more than that.
I mean, I think it's probably going to be more of it's a hybrid. We're not getting 2003 Triple H because he's not the one. He's not totally owning the show. Although, I mean, we've certainly seen an increased role in Triple H, in the past few weeks. But I think we're gonna kind of just get a hybrid of everything he's done before.
He might not be owning the show, but he's definitely owning the big show, huh?
Man, you.
Okay, I'm on Keith, fire, baby.
For lunch today, seriously.
I am on fire.
Something's wrong with you.
Did you feel that physical pain in your chest?
I know,
Is it
right?
just me?
It's almost like I should just mute his entire track for the rest of the show for some reason.
Why did you do that?
Nah, but seriously though, how do you guys feel about the Shield's involvement this week? We were talking last week about the fact that maybe they're not going to be their full-time. Ryan, I know you had your doubts about that, whether the Shield were going to be enforcers or not. We're definitely seeing that now. I mean, that couldn't be any clearer.
Yeah, no, it's completely clear now that they are the enforcers, and I think it's a good role for them, and they're it's giving them something to do, and they're playing it well in that gauntlet match. I wish they had kind of let it go on a little more, but it's not their choice. But it's they haven't really given them any sort of character-ish thing. They're just kind of the bodyguards. There's no sort of justice thing behind it, except that they're just kind of following orders from Triple H, which, I mean, I guess that's their thing. You know what I mean? There's no kind of kayfabe explanation to how this fits into what they believe in. They're just kind of...
Do they really need it, though?
No, not necessarily. I mean, it would... At this point, because, I mean, they were always kind of ambiguous about their whole justice thing. So, I mean, it just kind of fits. They can kind of fit it into however they want to do it. So, for now, I mean, they're just going to probably be the sort of mindless bodyguards. Although, I mean, eventually I'd like to see a little bit more depth to them. But for now, it works.
I agree with you 100%. I feel like the Shield's exactly where they need to be right now. Like, even back when they first came out with the whole justice thing, and it was like Paul Heyman's justice. Like, they were protecting CM Punk, even though allegedly they weren't. So now they're just doing Triple H's justice instead.
Yeah.
So
I
think it's a great role.
Paid
for the
mercenaries, I guess, is a way to put it. They're sort of paid mercenaries.
Kind of, yeah.
A modern day APA, you might call it, huh?
Maybe.
Yeah, a more serious version, I guess.
No, but it's a great thing, though, because the whole paid mercenaries thing is exactly what they are, and the good thing is it always leaves the door open to whatever. Hypothetically, I was thinking about this during Raw. We were talking about Shane last week. I was thinking, like, what if, like, Shane for somehow, I mean, I don't know what his relationship is with Vince nowadays. I remember there were, like, reports back in the day saying that they weren't talking anymore or something, but then we got pictures. But what if Shane pulled the shades of him buying WCW and was just like, you know what, I am just going to buy the Shield and turn them on you. You know, that is where that type of character can go, because like Keith said, you know, they were Paul Heyman guys. Before there was a Paul Heyman guy gimmick, you know. We had the whole CM Punk thing. I mean, they beat down Brad Maddox, and apparently they were working alongside him. So they can be part of this huge scheme that's being planned, and long term, I think they became relevant again. I was saying before that they were completely irrelevant to me, and by the end of Raw, I think not only was the Shield established, we already know the people that are gonna be facing off against the Shield. You know, it can be more obvious with the whole Dolph Ziggler thing. We got Big Show. We got Dana Bryan. I mean, how crazy was that end of Raw? I'm not going to lie. At the end, I was like, yes. Like, not only did last week, the previous Raw, we get an established heel Triple H, but this week I was like, holy crap. I actually have a storyline that I don't really know where it's going to go because the owners are in charge of everything.
Yeah, it was almost kind of uncomfortable to watch. Like Triple H up on the stage there telling everybody, like, get out of my way, what the hell are you gonna do about it? It was a little unnerving.
No, I love how he's basically playing this like dictator role now. And you know, everybody's kind of got their roles, you know, because it's like Brad Maddox, you know, he's supposed to be the general manager in power, but it's like very clear now he's just kind of like a puppet that Triple H is controlling, and you know, Randy Orton is kind of his, you know, his guy that stands by him. He's kind of his right-hand man. And I love when Triple H came out and, you know, before the Shield, you know, finally put down Bryan, you know, all he just did a single subtle nod, like, do it, you know, and it just showed like kind of just a little gesture signaled for them to just like destroy him. I don't know, like just that subtlety of that just made him seem like ultra powerful.
Now, question. I mean, pretty much everyone's been wanting Randy to turn heel, even though that technically happened at SummerSlam. I think this Raw was the first time where we're definitely getting the I'm the bad guy now. You know, I'm the guy that's the face of the company. He was very, very obviously. He was on the opposite spectrum of where he was even like 3 weeks ago. Are you guys happy with that? What do you think about Randy's involvement?
Yeah, I mean, it was clear at least who he was associated with the week before, that, you know, he was going to be heel, but that didn't really come out into his character much until this week. And, you know, it's working. I mean, there's no way he's not going to get over as a heel with the people who he's involved with. You know, just by association, he doesn't even have to do much. He just basically has to be Triple H's lackey in a way, although I'd like to see him be a little more than that. But right now, he sort of is in the shadow of Triple H, even though he's the WWE champion.
Yeah, and I mean, the big thing is that Randy Orton is relevant again. Like, a couple months ago, people were chanting, "Fire Randy," during his matches. Now he's, like, the company's top heel. So I think it was an amazing move for them to turn Orton heel, just so Randy Orton can be relevant again.
Yeah, because I mean, I'll ask you guys, doesn't it feel more like, it feels more like Daniel Bryan's at odds with Triple H than Bryan? I mean, I'm sorry, I messed that. Wait, did I say that right? Let me start over.
You said it wrong.
Yeah, it feels more like Daniel Bryan's at odds with Triple H than Randy, is what I meant to say.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like the Austin thing back in the day where, like, Austin was always fighting against Vince McMahon's guy, but he was always at odds with Vince McMahon. So it's kind of got that feel to it, in a way.
No, and that was already made pretty clearly last week. I think if Randy was the top guy, he was the selfish character, there's no reason why he should have said what he said last week when he was like, you know, I owe everything to Triple H this, Triple H that. It's very obvious that Randy is basically doing the wrestling for Triple H while Triple H is running the show. So it's almost like the way for Triple H's character be completely involved. You know, he's not physically getting involved, but he's manipulating Randy by making all these decisions that will make him happy, and at the same time, he's taking control over everything. I mean, when he was talking to Brad Maddox backstage, I was like, holy crap, I missed this Triple H. I think this is 2003 Triple H, but done right. because the way they're doing it, he's not doing both the wrestling and the talking. He's doing the talking, and everyone else is doing the actual actions.
Plus, like, how weird is it that Triple H is in the main event picture and nobody's complaining about it? Like, that alone says that they're doing something right.